Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Crimson Vow draft here on the channel. My name is Nikolai, and in this video, I will be going pick by pick and play by play through a Crimson Vow draft, talking through all of my decisions so you know what to do in your own Crimson Vow drafts. If you do enjoy it, remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel for more draft content, and comment below with your questions, thoughts, and feedback. If you'd like to catch me streaming live, you can find me at twitch.tv/NicolaiBolas. Okie doke, let's see what we can open. The pressure builds, and we have opened up a Dorothea Vengeful Victim. Now, I think this card is pretty good, because in a defensive deck, you can play this, it'll trade with something sizable, and then you bring it back as a pretty major threat. Now, the problem is that it is a gold card, and it's not particularly splashable, so I'm not really looking to start with that sort of thing if I find a monocolored card that is better. Screaming Swarm seems pretty solid to me. It is very expensive, though, as a 6-mana 4/4 flyer. So, like, starting with a 6-drop is risky, but this card is powerful. And then the other uncommons, not particularly. I think the Honeymoon Hearse can be good, but it's worse than the Swarm, I think. And then the commons, there is Blood Crazed Socialite, which hits like a truck, but it is a bit expensive as a 4-drop. Stitched Assistant can be okay, but I think it's worse than the Socialite. Griff Rider is a card I've been wanting to try out, but I think it's probably worse than starting with a Screaming Swarm. I think it's between the Socialite and the Swarm. I'd like to get some reps in with the higher rarity cards. So I'm going to take the Swarm. See how that ends up playing out. Okay, in this pack we see a heck of a lot of green cards. We see Weaver of Blossom, Sporecrawler, Dawnheart Disciple, and Sawblade Slinger. In blue, to go pair with our Screaming Swarm, there is Chill of the Grave, which I think is probably the best blue card in this pack. The Scob can be okay, but it's kind of hard to get 2 creatures in your graveyard. And there's also Selhoff Entomber, which is not a particularly powerful card, because discarding creatures is oftentimes not worth it, unless you're kind of pairing it with the Scob. Lamholt Raconteur is okay, but I think if I was to take a card of that power level, I would just take Chill of the Grave. This card's like a little bit expensive for what it does. I think the best card is the Slinger, though, because if you do ever fight a zombie, it's just really, really good. And if you are able to like just play it and kill a blood token, that's also just fine. Weaver and Sporecrawler are 2 cards. I'm kind of not sure which one's more powerful at this point, but I think I would default towards the Crawler just because it makes attacking at you very difficult. You'll just get a 2-for-1. But I like the Sawblade Slinger. I'll be happy to try that out. Okay, moving on to pick 3. There are a few cards that I'm interested in here. There's the Traveling Minister, which is a card I've wanted to try. I think it's worse than the Infantry, which is another card that I think looks pretty solid to me. There's also Oakshade Stalker, which can get some ambushes on and help you like flip it to nighttime if you really care about that. Cobbled Lancer can be really good in like a self-mill style deck that can fill its graveyard. And then there's like Scattered Thoughts as a card draw spell. I think the main options are Cobbled Lancer, pairs with the Screaming Swarm. If I'm playing like blue-green self-mill or something like that, then it could play well there. And just a very powerful card when you do manage to get it in play. And then there's Drogskull Infantry. But that does push me into a second color. And the fact that there's a couple of other blue cards in this pack maybe indicates that blue could be open. So I don't really see a need to jump into a different lane just yet. If after this, I think I would take the Stalker to go with the Slinger, and then I would take the Drogskull. I think I'm going to try to stick to the colors that I already have a little bit of stuff in. And now, interesting pack here, we see Cradle of Safety as a blue card. I think that card is better than Siphon Essence, just because you can like deal with a removal spell, protect your key threats, and sometimes even just win a combat with this. So I think that's the best blue card in the pack. I don't really like Fear of Death, just not really going to impact the game the way you want. The best green card is Sporecrawler. It's much better than Bramble Armor. And then after those, I think I would take Sporecrawler over Cradle of Safety. There is also Grisly Ritual, which is a fine top-end removal spell. There is Edgar's Awakening, which is pretty solid if you have some blood tokens. But I think I'm just going to stick to blue-green until the signals are clearly telling me not to, because I get to play all of the cards I've drafted so far, and they're all pretty solid. But we are maybe noticing a little bit of a black signal with his Edgar's Awakening and Grisly Ritual. Okay. So now we're seeing quite a few black cards in this pack. Wedding Security is really good with blood tokens. Desperate Farmer can be pretty solid if you have ways to sacrifice creatures. Gluttonous Guest can do good work in a life gain deck. Blood Fountain can be solid. But there's also just a very good green card in Spiked Ripsaw, which I think is the best card in this pack. And since I already have a few green cards, I'm pretty happy taking this. think Paris Blade Trainee is interesting. I'm not exactly sure how powerful it is. It seems kind of hard to get the counter on it because, like, you have to attack with this creature on, like, turn 4 or whatever, when they're probably going to have a blocker for it, but that's something I'll have to figure out as the format goes on. But I think the Ripsaw is quite good. I want to try it out for sure. And so, yeah, we'll take the Ripsaw. And now we see quite a few red cards. There's the Falconwrath Celebrants, which seems pretty solid to me. I think this is the best red card in the pack. I think it's a little bit better than the Wolf and the Pyrespawn. And then there's also Repository Scab, which does play well with the Spore Crawler. I don't currently have any instants or sorceries to get back, but I could definitely get some. And it plays with my main colors. Seeing a bunch of red cards here, but none of them particularly, like, overwhelmingly powerful. The Heirloom's an interesting one if I did want to splash. Similarly with Nature's Embrace. I could just take the green card. But I think the Repository Scab is pretty solid. And I do want to get some reps in with the card, see how it performs. Celebrants and Nature's Embrace are kind of my next couple of cards I'm considering. Wow. Late Gift of Fangs. This card seems pretty good to me. There's also Mulch, which can play really well with some of my cards if I can get some nice self-mill stuff. But I think Binding Geist is the best card in this pack. I'm still pretty high on this card. I played it a couple times yesterday. It performed pretty well. It's a good card to sacrifice. It's a good card to mill over if I have some mill synergies. Mulch could be a good card in my deck. Plays well with the Scab potentially as like a fuels my graveyard and a card I can get back with Scab and helps me fill my graveyard even more. But Binding Geist just seems solid to me. There is a good black card, but looks like we're playing some blue-green stuff. Wow, another Cobbled Lancer. That really makes me want cards like Mulch so I can get those down early. I also really like Flourishing Hunter. I do already have a 6-drop, but I think Flourishing Hunter is quite good. So I like Cobbled Lancer. I do want to get more reps with the card too. I have played it a little bit, but it's still going to be interesting to see. Okay, Stitched Assistant. It can be a solid card if I get some enablers for it. I could consider Alchemist's Retrieval. I do have solid enters the battlefield effects on some of my cards. But I don't really think I'd prefer that over just a random 3-drop right now. My curve is looking decent. I have a few 3-drops, but we could still find good stuff to sacrifice and things like that. Wow, nice little 2-drop coming around late. I don't really have a lot of humans, so maybe I don't really want this particular 2-drop, and I'd rather just take Chill of the Grave because I do have some zombies. The question is, do I think I'll be able to get 2-drops? And I think I will be able to get 2-drops, and I think Chill of the Grave. I'm going to struggle for interaction in blue-green, and Chill of the Grave could be what I need. Okay, Scattered Thoughts is good here. I think passing up on the human is fine, because I'm not going to be able to really maximize it very well. Fear of Death. Not really a card I'm interested in, but I'll take it so I don't pass any blue. Wow, late black cards here. We only have 3 of these guys, and I think if we were to end up in a blue-black deck, we'd rather have the Blood Fountain. Well, I guess we got rewarded for the Blood Fountain pickup, because this card's a very good rare. And it only means giving up 3 green cards. I think I'm going to take the Dreadfeast Demon. There's also Diver Scob, which is very good, and Lantern Bearer, which is very good. Let's see, do my cards work well in blue-black? I mean, these cards all work pretty well in blue-black. Cobbled Lancer may be a little bit harder to enable, but maybe we can wheel like a Doom Dissenter or something like that. This card's just very good and worth taking, I think. That's one of the benefits of being heavy in one color. And then I'll be looking for ways to fill my graveyard, search this thing up. I think Diver Scob would be my next pick out of this pack, and then Lantern Bearer. Pretty nice pickup. Okay. So now that we have this, how much of a priority is playing black? Because if black isn't open, I still don't think I want to play it. Because one rare doesn't like outweigh my entire deck. Another Spiked Ripsaw, but I already have one of those. I'm not sure if I would really want 2 of those because they could get clunky in multiples. Could take Mind Leech Ghoul or Selhoff and Tumor. Both of those are options. And this board does play well with the Cobbled Lancers. So I think I'm going to do that. Leave myself a little bit more flexible. And try out a new card in the process. Braid, but we're not going to play red. We didn't see any red pack 1. There's a Binding Geist. And there's an Evolving Wilds. So the plan with Selhoff is I can play it, maybe discard a card so I can fuel my Cobbled Lancer, and then, like, sacrifice it to an exploit card or something. Binding Geist or Wilds. I kind of like Wilds here. I feel like I'm going to make playables pretty easily, and I have a lot of 3-drops, even if I do cut some of these guys. I like taking Wilds just very highly. Makes my mana a lot better. Okay. There is the Soul Cipher board, which I haven't really gotten to try out yet. Wash Away can be good. Spirit's fine for aggressive decks. Diagraph Scavenger. And then there's Wretched Throng. We didn't wheel the earlier Wretched Throng or see any late in pack 1, so I'm not going to try to get into the Wretched Throng game. I think I'll just take Diagraph Scavenger. This card just seems really slow to me, and my deck is already a bit slow, lacking 2-drops and stuff. And this card really blocks well. You take Mind Leech Ghoul just to get another 2-drop. I do think Geist is pretty solid. Cradle of Safety can be good too for protecting my key top-end cards. But I think I just need more 2-drops. I'll find stuff to do it on turn 3, I think. Farmer plays well if I do get some more exploit stuff. I don't have any premium removal right now. Grizzly Ritual would be a fine top-end removal spell, and I already have one Selhoff Entomber. I don't really want multiples of them, even though I can discard one to the other. Persistent Specimen could be okay as well. Just gonna take the first Grizzly Ritual. I think having access to one of those can be good. Now I'll take the Specimen over Aim. Wow, Lantern Bearer wheeling is insane. I'm not going to shift back to green unless I open a really strong green rare, I don't think. I'll still take some green cards when they present themselves. Gluttonous Geist or Honored Heirloom. I think I'll take the Geist. I'm not sure if I want it. But depending on if I need any extra 3-drops, I could see playing it. And it gains me some life, gets me a blood token to filter to draw my demon sooner. I feel like this deck is shaping up nicely. We got the Wretched Throng back. Oh, the skeleton does pair well with the demon. 3-mana demon every turn. Now we're in the market for a Blood Servitor. Wow, I really like Undead Butler. It basically, like, it's going to, like, dig me towards my demon, because if I do mill the demon with it, I'll eventually be able to exploit it to get the demon back. Just a great little 2-drop for my deck. After that, I would probably take Syncopate, because I can flexibly use it at any point. Desperate Farmer is also pretty solid. But I really like the Butler. Like, I don't really... The thing is, the reason I haven't been taking the Binding Geists, I generally haven't really been feeling like I need to prioritize 3-drops, because I just end up... There's just a lot of good ones. Even if power level-wise, it's a pretty good card for blue decks. Oh my gosh. That's sick. Oh my gosh. We get a gold card rare for our deck that can actually put our Dreadfast Demon back on top of our library. And we already have that and Screaming Swarm. So we have 2 different ways to flip it. So I think that's worth taking. There is also Gift of Fangs, which is a great removal spell for early in the game. But, I mean, you got to try the Runo. I mean, we'll have to see how powerful it is, but it seems like it could be really good if it ever flips. Okay, we don't really have life gain synergies for the bat, so we'll just take another Farmer over an Alchemist Retrieval, I think. So let's just sort our interaction here. So we have interactive spell. Kind of like not a creature that we want to be playing on turn 1 or whatever. Like, these are just not interaction spells, I guess. These are just, like, non-creatures. So our creature curve is looking okay. Desperate Farmer seems solid. This card's not as good. Retrieval could be fine just for interaction. But I think I'll just take another Farmer. Farmer seems pretty good in my deck. Like, if I can exploit a creature or something. Okay. Not really a huge fan of this card. Could take another Grizzly Ritual. I have plenty of 3-drops. Grizzly Ritual is super expensive. I think I'd rather just have a Desperate Farmer. Because if that does flip, it's just like a game changer. Then I'll take another Selhoff Entomber just for another 2-drop. I was really unimpressed with this guy yesterday. Like, severely unimpressed. I think Repository Scab is much better. Even then, I only have 1, 2, 3 cards to get back with it, so I might not even want to play that. Undying Malice is maybe okay. Probably not, though. Ragged Recluse works well with blood tokens, but I don't really have those. Siphon Essence, not a card I'm super interested in. Maybe I'll try it out, though. It's always good to experiment with cards early in a format, so you kind of get a sense of whether they're good or not. Woohoo, Syncopate, let's go. So we have a couple counter spells now. I don't really want the card that can only be working with flyers. Unhallowed Phalanx. I know it's pronounced Phalanx, don't worry. Okay. Gluttonous Guest could be okay. This is an interesting build. I think I use my graveyard too much to want the Blood Fountain. Like, I'm just ditching my graveyard with things like Cobbled Lancer already. I don't want this as just a singleton copy. I don't want to splash green. I could consider trying this card. Thank you so much, Mitch, for the subscription. 17 months. I really appreciate the support. Welcome back. Okay, so we have 41 cards here. We have to make one more cut. We could cut Persistent Specimen. I'm probably just going to cut a Farmer, though. Because this way I get to try out more unique cards. I could even try running one Farmer, one Gluttonous Guest, because maybe just having a Blood Token to help me filter through my draws can be really good. And the Blood Token can help me set up my Cobbled Lancers as well. So I kind of want to experiment with that, see how good this card performs when I'm not really necessarily maximizing it. And I also just want to try out a bunch of these other cards. So I think I'm going to try it like this, and then if certain cards underperform, we always have more Desperate Farmers. So yeah, this is going to do it for the build. Let's just make sure our colors are reasonable. We need early black and early blue, and we only have single pipped cards, so I think having 8/8 split is fine. And that's going to do it for the build. I will see you folks in the matches. Before I get to the games, I want to give a huge shout out to all of the patrons who support my content, my channel, at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas, and special shout out to those at the credits level. It is thanks to Patreon support that I'm able to make as many videos as I do, so if you found my videos to be of some value, maybe they've helped you win a couple of extra games on the arena ladder, or maybe you've crushed your FNM because of some of my advice, and you want to help me continue making the videos, then Patreon is the best way to do so. And as my way of saying thank you, you even gain access to some pretty cool Patreon exclusive rewards, like access to my card-by-card grade spreadsheet, my tier list for Crimson Vow, which is an excellent bonus resource to help you crush your competition, especially early on in the format when a lot of people don't know how to evaluate the cards. But anyway, I do hope you are enjoying the video so far, regardless of whether or not you decide to become a patron. And without further ado, let's get to the games. Welcome to round one. We have a great hand here. Undead Butler into Stitched Assistant into Cobbled Lancer. Ah, the Epicure. Not the best mill, but we kind of want this to go to the graveyard normally anyway. Can't use that guy right now. I just need to draw lands. Timber Channel. Thank you so much, Timber. I really appreciate the support. 3 months of subscription. I really appreciate that. Okay. I think this is a turn where we can afford to double up on adding to the board. We could do this, or we could play this card and this card. It looks like they might be holding up a Braid. If they are holding up a Braid, I'd rather do this line, because then I at least have something on the board. Blue-black is where it's at right now. They don't have a Braid, so they just passed without doing anything. Interesting. Okay, so I can get back a counterspell. That's not as good. We're just going to... This card seems quite good to me. I'm really excited to see how it plays out. They have flipped it. I'll trade a 1/4 for a card in their hand, I think, because I think they have all spells. Maybe not. Maybe that was an incorrect assumption. Kind of want to ditch this demon. Could also ditch this thing. That's a good draw. I do need to make sure I play a spell, though, this turn. Cash in my guy for a Chill of the Grave. Make sure I can keep casting spells so they can't just flip their werewolf for free. Ah! Luckily, they'll trade still. I just need to survive. Need one more land, and I'm good to go. Just worst possible sequence of events for me. Oh my gosh. If I had an extra island here, I'd be in great shape. Guess that is a reason to run more islands than swamps, but... Luckily, Death Touch is really good. That's lunacy. So we have lethal next turn. I guess they must thought they didn't have any removal for my 2/3 Death Touch, but this card like won me the game. I mean, the rare also was a nice little top end thing to have there. Just churning through my deck. I feel like it's relatively easy to go through most of my deck. I really liked the Scavenger there. Like, if I had to pick like the card that felt the most satisfying to play in that game, the Scavenger was really high up there. Like, Death Touch is a really powerful ability. Maybe I just need to rank that card really highly. Like, it could be one of the best black commons. Okay. Yeah, the 2 damage drain is really nice as well. Oh, yikes. I honestly can't believe how unfortunate it is to mill 3 lands with this thing twice. Like, because it's such a nice like play to be able to block here and make them waste their whole turn using it. Oh, they did it anyway. I can double block this thing now. Easiest double block of my life. Do I want to get back a 3/1? No. This thing can block the Ballista Watcher. Could even trade it for this if I really needed to. I was desperate. But I think I'm going to Binding Guys this. The life gain feels pretty relevant there. Just a point. Ah! Hmm. Do I need to just hit land drops here? I could also go sell Hoff plus Binding Geist. This thing. Maybe I was supposed to Binding Geist this thing. Yeah, I'm in deep trouble. Oh, we've got trouble. Right here in River City. I'll discard the Screaming Swarm. The Entomber. This thing can ping me, so I'll have to get this thing up and running. That's a good draw. So I'm on a 3-turn clock from the Ballista Watcher. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to die to the Ballista Watcher as well. Oh, man, I'm so close to being able to get this thing going, but I'm gaining an extra life to live an extra turn. Actually, I do buy myself an extra turn here because unless they do nothing. Oh no, I should have tapped this thing. Oh no, what have I done? Then they ping me here, and then it would be tapped, and so then it wouldn't untap. But then they would just flip it. Oh, right. So I need them to not draw a land. Which is still some chance. No. GG. Actually, wait. Haha. Attacking with this may have been a mistake. I feel like I have to deal damage to them because I'm just going to die to this thing soon. Thank you so much, Movomoto, for the subscription. I appreciate that. Yeah. I done messed up. This thing needed to stay back. Because I still actually have some chance. The fact that I had to tap my Selhoff thing threw off my math. Because I could have been attacking if I hadn't had to tap my Selhoff guy. I think that game I would have had to go so well at the end there to win. I would have had to draw my 6 mana, kill the creature, get 2 blood tokens, and then like draw some other stuff. Let's just do a check-in on the deck, see what it feels like it's doing well, what it's doing poorly, any changes. The scab has not felt particularly good. I feel like it'd be better as this guy almost across the board. Let's try it like that. Oh, also, obviously have to change the deck box art to Runo, so we can live the Runo dream. I'm feeling like Desperate Farmer could be really good. Though, now that I've cut 2 exploit things, maybe it's a little bit worse. Okay, this hand looks pretty good on the draw. Stitch Assistant has something really nice to sacrifice. Nice! Undead Butler getting a chance for redemption. Not going to have to mill 3 lands this time. Ah, they're mulching. Oh my gosh. 2 Vile Spawn Spiders? Yikes. Nice. Milling no lands that time, getting me closer to the lands I desperately need. Don't think this Siphon Essence is very good. If they want to spend their turn using Honored Heirloom, I'm okay with that. I've got this like tempo beatdown plan going for me right now. No, why didn't I attack for 1? What am I doing? I'm a fool. I done messed up. Yikes. That's a scary card. Yes, please, on the island department. tap this thing down for 2 combats. This card's going to be pretty good against my Disturb guy. And this Disturb guy. Okay. Nice. Evolving Wild's wrecking me here. Not sure attacking for 1 does much there, whereas a chump blocker could have done maybe more. Undead Butler can maybe get this thing back, but they have that. Goodbye, Undead Butler. I need to draw something next turn. I need a hero. Hopefully they don't have a combat trick. Gonna block that one because I can kill the 6/6. Just a disaster. At least my Dreadfest Feast Demon didn't get messed up. Come on, land. Just devastated. This thing can at least block there. Mm-hmm. Yep. Sometimes it takes a while to find the 7th land. And by a while, I mean 14 cards left in my deck. Oh, gosh. Unfortunately, I had to block this with one of my demons. Oh, no. But they already had their color. Yes! Got there. It was a lonely road to get to that 7th land. We stabilized it eventually. Oh my gosh. That was a wild time. The demon. The demon just took over. Pretty powerful card, if I do say so myself. As if I designed it or had anything to do with its power. Chat says that demon, wow. And I have to agree with chat in this case. Pretty powerful. Ooh, let's go. Wow, this is a great hand. I managed to beat the demon yesterday. I like bounced the token, killed the demon. Counterspells might just be really good because there's a lot of expensive game enders in this format. This card's a bit of a combo with the Selhoffen Tumor, so maybe I was supposed to wait on that. But I also kind of like being able to sack it to this. Sequencing. I did it backwards. No. I'll do this guy first so I can then attack with a 4/3 lifelinker. Trade it with this guy. Which isn't the best, but that's how it goes sometimes. Oh my gosh. Double Blood Tithe Harvester. There's no combat trick for just black that they could have. They could have a burn spell that exiles this thing. That is a really weird use of this. I would think they'd do that. They kill this thing for free. Also, they ordered this thing first. Interesting. I'm so confused. I'm not understanding their line. Aye. That's a good draw. Kind of. I can discard it. Ah, yes. This thing can give -4/-4. This is a 6/6. So unless I get another blood token, I'm fine on that department. We've got a game plan now. Ah! That's a good one. That's something to discard it. The Selhoffen Tumor. Free value. I'll double block this fellow. That is fine. This card is pretty bad, I think. This thing can kill a demon. Okay, it's fine when you're sacrificing it to your actual good card. No, because this thing is going to generate another demon, so they can still have another removal spell in addition to this guy. And I like just digging towards my 7th land. Because I do have ways to get the demon back if they do manage to kill it. Syncopate. Oh my gosh, it's like a demon. Looking at the artwork, it's like the demon is doing a trapeze thing. It's like he's going along and gonna grab the other demon by the hands to help it out. Oh my gosh, no, opponent, you have the answer. Opponent, no! No, you had an answer. Oh, they said oops. They understand their mistake. Oh. Ah! Always punished. It's been down to 9. They have 4, 7. They have 3 blood tokens, so they can deal 6 to me. I'm just gonna lose because I didn't have my syncopate up that turn. Yikes. I'm just dead on board. Because they sacrificed... Oh, this can only work once a turn. Thank goodness. What? Why would you ever sacrifice it to discard a card when you could use it with this deal 2 card? I live at 1. But they can gain 6. We're in a problematic area here now. But they do have to sacrifice one of their creatures to do it. Oh, I'm so dead. I'm so dead. Oh, no. I could put the counter on this, but then they just sacrifice another thing, so I just have to dig. None of this helps. Dang it. Like, obviously, they know that they can sacrifice another creature. Yep. This card is absurd. Oh my gosh. I knew I had the +1, folks, but I knew that it didn't matter if they could see, so I had to try to find an answer to that, but I didn't have one. Oh my gosh, that's so brutal. Like, I drew the Syncopate too late. That one turn where I drew my Evolving Wilds really hosed me. Because I had the Evolving Wilds. Oh my gosh, they choked, they like messed it up too, because their 3/2 wouldn't have been able to kill my guy, but then they found the Ange or whatever it's called. Oh man, that's insane. I think I played that game pretty well, and I also feel like opponent made some errors that I was able to pull ahead because of, and then it just didn't matter. Feels bad. Get bailed out by the black red rare. I mean, I had my Feasting Demon, but like, I probably would have been able to. I would rather not have the Feasting Demon and they have not have their Ange, because then I lost. Hmm. Play the Geist. The next turn I can hold up Scattered Thoughts or Siphon Essence. Black-white. This seems really good for me. Things are looking good this game. No, Binding Geist. Why? Nice. And the game is over. Ooh, at least I locked in at least a 50% win rate with this deck. That's nice. I'm gonna have to adjust the way I'm setting up for these games because I can't afford to always go long against opponents' decks because there's like so many powerful cards in the late game, so I might not always have the best one. Do I want the Scab? Probably not. I haven't been able to get a ton of unconditional removal spells or just like strong removal spells. And that has been tricky because I just can't kill the creatures when they play them. But I'm sure that will come with time. Being really solidly in one color after the first pack seems really nice because then you have an extra chance to open a really powerful rare. Because like you can open some really good stuff. So that could be a good adjustment to make. Like try to be like mono green or mono blue, kind of like I was at the end of pack 1 where I was very heavy blue. On the draw. I will keep it. I need to draw an island, but I have 3-drop, 4-drop. Chad asks, how has Syncopate played? Syncopate's been pretty good. It was pretty good against me as well. Really wrecked me earlier. I'll trade here. Oh no! If I draw an island, I can go Cobbled Lancer, hold up Syncopate, which would be great. Like, really, really great. Yes! Best outcome here. Because this way I can Syncopate their 5-drop, which is usually a pretty critical turn, and start to catch back up. This thing holds back this. And it can trade with this. It can't trade with this because they have 2 cards in their graveyard. 3 cards in their graveyard. It is not Lucas. It's a different deck. Chad asked if this is the same deck from my last video. I'm not sure what to think about Cobbled Lancer. It's felt pretty good to me because like when you can cast it, it just like dominates the board. This thing no longer can gain first strike. Oh, it's certainly going to be a video. Chad has asked if this is going to be posted onto YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I mean, you have, of course, noticed that it has been posted onto YouTube. And as an aside, I pretty much record every single draft I do, and I pretty much post every single draft I do as well. No, he's going to get exiled. Poor little guy. I'll trade with the 3-1 before it can gain first strike and be really annoying. And I don't mind trading because it lets me play my next Cobbled Lancer. That's just a bizarre play. Because they would have traded, but I guess I'm fine with it. I don't get to play this, but I still have a lot of blockers for their board. The fact that they had Sigard's Imprisonment instead of any other removal spell really wrecks me a little bit. Prevents me from playing my guy out. Air Strike kills me. Chad asks if what I think of Cobbled Lancer and if it would be better in Simic. I think it probably would be if I had some more self-mill. The problem, this isn't a really accurate reflection of how most games play out, because usually I don't draw 10 lands in my first 16 cards. I literally think I kept a 4-spell hand, and I just haven't drawn a single spell this entire game, really. Yeah, I don't think it would be a drawback if I hadn't drawn my entire deck with none of my spells. We're gonna go that. Come on, demon. 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 Yes! We're still in it! And they exiled their Drogskull guy, so they can't put the extra counter onto this thing again. I'm like totally dead if they have like any spell, but... Yes, we have lived! Yes! So I have all blockers up, and then I can just attack them for like 24 next turn. One more turn. One more turn. One more turn. Oh my gosh, we're still alive. One more turn before the storm. Demons hitting for much damage. One more top deck, then we win. Hopefully it's not a burn spell. Man, ever since I watched Les Miserables, the songs are in my head. Also, they're at exactly 18, so even if I kill one of the demons, I can still win. Oh my gosh. I am enraged. I cannot believe it. They can win the game now. Oh, they choked it. Okay, they punted. They done messed up. If they put it on this thing, I have to double block it. Or I have to, yeah, I have to block it. Yeah. Man, I was one... If I hadn't drawn both of those creatures, I would have lost. Insanity. Charge of the Light Brigade! Yes! They would have had a chance if they had put it onto the blood guy. Onto the blood pedal thing, because then I have to block that with two guys. I lose one, and then they can jump with their guy, so I couldn't actually attack. That was not an easy game, chat. That was a challenging game. And we could have lost all the way up to the end because of that final land top deck. If we top deck the spell at the end there, it would have been much better for us. But yes, we have clinched a positive record. That's what we like to see. With all of the variance that goes into best of one games, getting a positive record is always a feels good moment. No matter how many times I do it, I always feel a little bit proud once I get there. Okay, we are going to mulligan this hand. We just, on the play, we need an island too badly. Ho, 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 yes, please. Keep a Ruski. I'm going to ditch that. We'll see how it performs. I'm getting a sense of deja vu. The fleeting spirit has returned. I really like this Desperate Farmer. It feels like it flips into a 4/3 lifelink relatively often, so I've been liking it so far. Oof. Thank you for the compliments, chat. They said they're a big fan of my YouTube channel. Bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum. This next turn, I'll just play Scattered Thoughts. How is it still a human on the backside? I guess the zombie is the horse. Okay. Wanderlight Spirit is well statted, but has drawbacks, which I like as a card design. I think I'm fine ditching the Lantern Guide. I can ditch this thing to draw an extra card. I need to figure out a way to kill one of my own creatures so these guys will flip. I could just tap this. I can also Lantern Bearer one of them. That's a card. Got rid of Syncopate. I'm just going to trade one for this guy. And then I can Lantern Bearer the other one. I could have also sacrificed this thing to itself. I considered it. I'm not putting this Lantern Bearer here thing now because I want them to keep attacking with the spirits. Because until this gains flying, then attacking with spirits makes sense. Put this on there. Again, this is just one of those challenging games where I just have drawn a lot of lands. Yeah, I'm just dead. I need to draw my removal spell so I can kill this thing. And I'm still probably dead. It's just what happens sometimes when you draw 10 lands. I mean, I did draw more cards than the opponent, so I expect to draw more lands, but just the way things lined up. Them having this counterspell was pretty bad for me. I am dead on board. Yep. That's pretty scary when they have that guy. The Wanderlight Spirits apply pressure pretty well. But yeah, pretty solid performance. I forget how many of our wins came after we cast the Dreadfeast Demon. I feel like all of them might have come after we cast the Demon. I don't know if we won a single game without the Demon. Because it's just such an efficient closer. Like, once you cast it, you win so quickly. We didn't do anything with Runa that was cool, but getting a 4-3 record's pretty solid. And yeah. Let's talk about some cards. I think this card was fantastic. It was kind of nice to have a removal spell. It was the only one we had. Never really did anything with Swarm. Scattered Thoughts was great. I really liked the Diregraph Scavenger. I'm going to prioritize this card in the future. Farmer was okay. Entomber did more than I thought it would. I like the Lancer. I've been really liking Chill of the Grave. This card feels good. I feel like I cast it for 2 mana like every time. I mean, even this counterspell was okay. Bruno didn't do much. Specimen was kind of okay. But yeah, pretty cool deck. If you made it all the way to the end of this video and you're watching on YouTube, remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel for more content, and comment below with your questions, thoughts, and feedback. If you would like to catch the Twitch stream, it's twitch.tv/NicolaiBolas, and it's linked in the description. If you would like to support my content, you can do so via the Patreon, patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. You can also buy Nicolai Bolas merchandise or join the Nicolai Bolas Discord server, which is free for everybody to join. Or you can check out like my articles. All of that stuff is linked in the description down below. And you can even find my draft guide for Crimson Vow if you want some extra content to help you get ready for your own drafts. If you did make it all the way to the end of this video, in the comment section down below, leave hashtag feast or famine, because when we drew the hashtag dread feast or famine, because when we drew the dread feast demon, we won, and when we didn't draw the dread feast demon, we tended to lose. So we did only lose one game when we got that guy into play, and that was kind of a crazy circumstance. So pretty cool stuff with the Dread Feast Demon. I'm glad we were flexible enough to be able to play it, try it out, and see how it performed. Definitely a card that is going to be a player in the format, as it is only a rare. So yeah, that is going to do it for this draft video. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you next time.